It's morning or afternoon where you are. My name is Judy Feldhausen, and welcome to Your Health Matters. And Your Health Matters is really a way to introduce you to different modalities, different practitioners, different ideas on what health means today in the real world. So we work with natural methods and modern technologies, but we want you to know what's going on, what people think out there, and we want to introduce you to the best. So today I'm going to do that. I'm going to introduce you to my guest, Dr. Peggy Christian. And Dr. Peggy actually was a dentist, and that's a whole other story. But she left her practice and went into nutrition. She became a triathlete in her 40s, and she had an intense travel schedule, and she developed some stomach issues. And I'll let her talk about all that. But that led her to holistic health. And she's got a master's in nutrition and wellness. She studied functional nutrition. I mean, this girl, she's got so many years of education behind her, but she wants to help her clients create their own individual, thriving, and fulfillment life. And the name of her company is Thrive Wellness, which when we met on LinkedIn, which I do with a lot of my new friends. And when I saw that her company was Thrive Wellness, it's beyond just doing things the regular way, just being regularly healthy, having some challenges, but not working on them. And Dr. Peggy actually helps her clients do that. So Dr. Peggy, tell us really what made you start Thrive Wellness, because that's just so intriguing to me.
Yeah, so I call myself a Thrive. My name of my company is actually Pure Focus Wellness, with the idea that we can focus in on each individual. So, and I call myself a Thrive Guide, because really what I want to do is one of the things, as you talked about, I started out and I totally allopathic. I love science. I love all that stuff. And I also love how it's all coming together, where it's not just about taking a test and getting a pill. It's not just like, now it's like, how do we do the whole body? Because so much of whether we're thriving, whether we're healthy, whether we're living our best life, it all has to do with having all of us, all of our parts, all of, like, our mind, our body, and our relationships and our spirituality. Without that, we're not thriving either. And so one of the things that I think is so important and that I'm so excited about is there's so many new ways that we can look at a person. And one of the things that I learned through my wellness journey itself is we have this idea in our society that you take a test and it gives you a result, and then that tells you exactly everything. But the truth is, it's a map of the territory. It may give you some information of things that you don't have to worry about, but or it may get you on the right path. And that's the beauty of these new modalities that we have, like you mentioned, the nutrigenomics. And that is, it doesn't tell you that you're going to have something wrong with you. What it does is it might help you if you're having certain long-term issues that don't seem to be being helped by traditional methods. That can kind of help with the right practitioner, lead you into a path where you can start exploring things instead of just this big shotgun thing, or the things on the internet where you can't tell the difference between what's marketing and what's actually truth. And the thing is, it could be true, but that doesn't mean it's true for you. And that's what's so helpful, when you start looking at the person holistically, just like what you do, right? It's not just, here's the cookie cutter thing, here's a cookie cutter thing, here's a cookie cutter thing, and everybody takes the same thing and everybody does the same thing. Well, no, not really.
Yeah,
Not if they want
exactly.
to really thrive. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So as you know, I work with blood work and can look at blood work in a holistic way and help people on the path. And what I find with my clients, and tell me if yours are like the same, Dr. Peggy, people know they need to do something. They know that maybe they don't want to go the allopathic way, they want to go the holistic way, and then they get overwhelmed with all the information on the internet, and they get stuck not knowing what direction to go. Do you find that with
Yeah,
your
and I actually experienced it myself, right? I something would sound so perfect, right? And I'd be like, that's the clue. That's the thing that is going to do this. And so one of the things that opened up my eyes was, I was having all the stomach problems, and so we did regular imaging, and nothing would. There's nothing wrong with you, but I know there's something not right. And
Mhm.
so then, one of the things I think is the whole looking at foods. People do the food sensitivities and things like that. And if you have a leaky gut, it's going to tell you that all the foods you're eating are you're sensitive to. But and then if you start to eliminate them, and then what it's very difficult. It's a difficult thing to do. And then if you don't reintroduce everything the proper way, you're going to end up with the same exact spot you were before. And so I think that that's one of the things. People try so many things. That's what I find. And then after a while, you just give up, and you're like, well, I guess this is just my genetics. This is what I'm destined to do. And it's really frustrating because especially women, we're so proactive towards our health.
Mhm.
And I think that that's where it gets hard because we've done so many things and we had so much promise. And yes, some of it's shiny object, but at the same time, I don't know. When you work with your clients, what is the first thing? Like, I like to say, we're giving the other person permission
Mm.
to maybe look at things in a different way than the way that we were used to. And
Yes.
so,
Yes.
yeah. So tell
Absolutely.
me.
Permission is so important. And I know I like to put people in a frame of mind that, you didn't get here in a day. You're not going to heal in a day, but what we are going to do is we're going to take the proper steps. And they're going to be little things that you can do on a daily basis that are going to move you in that direction.
Yeah, and the other thing I think that I had to do for myself, and it's something that with the people that I work with my clients, and is we've kind of lost touch with our bodies. Like, I had to relearn how to listen to my body, and I'm getting better and better and better at it. Um, you know, and we're not encouraged to do that. I remember when I first started looking at my nutrition, and somebody would say, "Well, how do you feel after you eat that?" And I'd be like, "I don't know." Right? And so, that's a big part of how I work with my clients, is to actually get them to slow down enough and to practice actually connecting to themselves, having awareness of their self, not only what they're thinking, but also in their body. And then,
Yes. Yeah. It-
it's so important to relearn that. We knew it as kids. And then, we kind of, along the line, many of us have lost touch with being, and that's where the intuition, which I'm sure you use all the time with your clients, like, to really know what's going on inside.
yeah, it's and that listening piece and that
Mhm.
mindfulness, right? To have both of us be totally present in where we are and what's going on now, to be aware of that and to celebrate it and to figure out what you want different.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned the celebration part, because another thing that I think in our modern quick world, what we do is we say like, I want it, I want, you mentioned it at the beginning. It's got to be done, in 2 weeks. If I don't feel better, then this is a failure. And to notice the little changes. Like recently I did a pretty a lifestyle where to really eliminate anything that was not a whole food. So any packaged stuff. And I'll
Hmm.
tell you what I noticed. I noticed that I would sleep without waking up during the night, and I'm a good sleeper. But I since I was 15, I would wake up and notice and go right, and I'd fall right back to sleep, right? But when I wasn't having any processed food whatsoever, I slept just like a baby. And if I wasn't paying attention to things, I wouldn't have noticed that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting that the processed foods had that effect on you. And just think of the effect that it has on the children that are eating at those restaurants, you know, several times a week sometimes.
Or yeah, you see the line in the McDonald's drive-through with all the um, car seats in the back. And not to put anybody down, but I noticed, or somebody mentioned to me, that car seats now come with like drink holders and trays so that the kids could eat. Like,
Really?
yeah,
Holy smokes. Yeah. Yeah, because
yeah,
we're
yeah,
definitely a mobile society, aren't
right.
we?
But most of the kids are going for a 15-minute ride.
Yeah. Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's part of it too. We don't know what, that's a way long topic. So
It
I'm
is
going
a
to
way long
skip that
topic.
one for right
Yeah,
now. But
so
yeah.
we've talked about food being so important. And that's also a way long topic because I'm very particular about food. In fact, I'm writing a book about kefir right now, just about
Oh,
kefir. Uh,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
So, and we've talked a little bit about mindfulness, and I think stress comes into play that way too. What else do you help your clients with? Is that
Um, I think, and this is not in, it's part of mindfulness, but it's also, I think, helping somebody really get to their deepest why about why they want to change of something. And sometimes our initial reason for it is not enough to motivate us. Because here we are, we're in the end of February. A lot of people maybe started something at the beginning of the year. And the truth is that percentage wise, most people have stopped by now
yeah.
because our connection to it is not that deep to get back onto it. For example, say, well, I want to lose weight. Okay, but why? Well, because my clothes don't fit anymore, or I don't want to drag this around. But what if you said, because I want to be around and able to hang out with my grandkids when they're young adults, and maybe even see my great grandchildren and be able to keep up with them. I
Mm,
want to avoid ending up in um, a nursing home. I want to have my own ability to live on my own or live in a group of my choosing. I don't want to be a burden to my children. There's so many individual reasons why we would choose health,
mm-hmm.
why we would choose something. But if it's just this, well, I, I just want to lose weight, or my doctor told me I need to lose weight, or I have metabolic disease now, and or I'm pre-diabetic. Well, those aren't sexy enough, really, for me to stick to it, and then to the mindfulness, and then the part is change your belief about what's possible.
Yeah, yes. I like to say your why should make you either fill you with joy or make you cry, and maybe both.
Yeah. Like, so you prefer, like, the cry is like it's so beautiful that I can't contain. Yeah.
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 Because when you're attached to that, it makes all the difference in the world. You don't need to be motivated. You don't need to, because it's part of your essence. It's filling you with your values, right? And when we are
Yeah.
aligned with our values, we feel tremendous.
Absolutely. And for those times when we do get a disconnect, we have something to go back to bring us back to that place.
Exactly. Yeah, like you like, oh, this isn't about um, a cheat day, or this isn't about this event. This is about in the future. This is about who I define myself as, and then it's easy. And it's also easy to know your next steps.
Hmm. Hmm.
You
And
know,
be excited about getting there.
right, right. And it's so easy to get off track because we're so bombarded with things every day. Not only things that we need to do, but messaging and other people. And I think, for me, and you and I talked about this, I really find much of the diet and fitness industry to be toxic. They show a 20-year-old with the perfect body, and this is the only way that health looks. And I beg to differ.
Yeah.
Our bodies are so fantastic, and given the right circumstances, you know, they they our bodies can heal themselves. And we have so much um, literature and everything, whether it be in allopathic or in more less traditional type of literature, that's what happens.
Yeah. That's
It's
so
miraculous.
it's so
Just
true.
like the trees will bloom in a few months, right? it,
Yeah.
it does it all by itself without us having to interfere.
Yes, but we have to give it the right water, the
Conditions,
right
yeah.
nutrition in order for it to do that in the proper way.
And when we're more holistic, as you say, and we're more in tune with our why, we're in tune with how our body does feel when it's well, then we automatically know what to do, like you said. And and it's not following somebody else's recipe for what the
Yes.
wellness is.
Yeah, and it's yeah, you know what? You're so right. I just love what you said about following someone else's recipe because I might think I know what you need to do, right? And
Yeah,
if I make that person do that, they're not going to be as successful as if they even push back and say, "But that's not me. How can I do this differently?" I'm not ready to go out and run a marathon. You were a triathlete,
right.
so
Yeah.
you were able to do that. But maybe I, like, oh my gosh, I don't know, have bad knees or bad hips or something, and
Or
right
it just
now,
bores you. It
or
bores you to run. That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So finding out how to help people expand in that why and work with something that is going to fit into their life. I remember one guy that I think we talked about this, one guy that I was working with that had this guilt thing, and he wanted to work out, but he had a 3-year-old at home and wanted to spend more time with him. And for him, that was two separate things, right? Work out or spend time with the 3-year-old. And so through conversation, we just helped. He figured out that if he took his son to the park and ran around and threw a ball, that he was getting both. He was building a relationship. He was with his son, and he was he came back and said, "I really got a workout. That was really a workout."
Yeah. And our he's building this relationship with his son, and his son is building this relationship with activity and all those things, right? That if if he's at the gym and his son is just playing games or on the computer or whatever, he may not find that that brings him joy in as a teenager, and
Right.
then do it on his own. Yeah,
And
and make
not
it a
be able,
lifelong.
yeah, and not be able to get into a deep relationship with anyone, right?
Mhm.
Because it does,
Yeah,
it's, in most cases it starts with family and then goes from there.
yeah, and that goes back to what we talked about, the permission,
Hmm.
you know, and that's what's so great about working with people, because and I love it when somebody does this for me. Like, I have these ideas of what's possible, and then they're like, "Well, have you thought about this?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, that's brilliant." It's to have somebody outside of us that can look at us and know exactly what might be something different. I listen.
Hmm.
That's so rewarding to me, of working with other people. Is being that observer
Yeah,
of their wisdom that they're not connected with yet.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I love what you do, working with nutrition and getting to the why, as a triathlete, doing that physical part. What's next for you?
Well, I'm doing right now. I'm coaching. I'm coaching people to create their greatest thriving life. And so many of us were successful in so many ways. And but there's still the things that either we feel that we're making resolutions about it, or we're putting up with, and we especially when we're successful, we look at our lives and we say, I'm so blessed. I have all these wonderful things. I'm not going to get greedy. And you put up with not having the greatest relationship, or not thriving in your health. And so you're just like, I don't, especially I think as women, we're more likely to put ourselves on the back burner. And so I coach people to really, those things that they're tolerating, the things that they're yearning to have it be different. We get together and we figure out what are the one or two greatest things that you really feel held back in, you feel stuck. And we work on those. And then, what happens is, as you elevate one aspect of your life, so we have all these aspects of our life. We have our health, we have our relationships, we have our careers, we have our spirituality, we have um, our even as I'm aging, it becomes more important to make sure that I'm fulfilling my purpose. Maybe you're thinking about your legacy. Maybe, there's so many things, and they seem out of reach, but they're not. If I had a mentor who said to me, if you're yearning it, then it's possible.
Mm,
And so we work on those yearnings primarily. And when one thing gets better, the rest of your life all rises.
isn't that
It's
a
yeah,
rising tide lifts
yeah,
all ships, right?
exactly. And so one of my my quick little tagline is reveal, heal, and thrive.
Reveal, heal, and thrive.
Because
Mm,
you need to get to know yourself, and the things that are blocking you, that are outside of your consciousness, it's not your fault. You have these beliefs that you're not even aware of, you know?
yeah, yeah.
And
And so
then
what kind
once you understand the belief, go ahead.
yeah,
What were you saying?
yeah. So
You were
so
you were
once
asking me a
you
question? Yeah.
yeah, once you understand that belief, then what?
Well, then the thing is we've had those beliefs since we were quite young, and chances are that you don't have the skills. Because if you believe, let's say you believe that you're just going to be, you're not an athlete. You believe you're not an athlete because somebody said, "Oh, you should just sing because you're not an athlete," right? And when you were 5, but you want to go out and do things. And so what happened is all throughout your life, when it was you had an opportunity to learn skills to use your body or try things, you put it on the side. You need to develop the skills and the resources that you didn't develop as a child because you didn't think. It was almost like a why bother, that's not who I am.
Mm, yeah.
And then from there, you really have the mind, the body, and the spirit where you're to really thrive. You really have a part of you that believes in something that's greater than you. And the third really greatest aspect of it is to have community and surround yourself with people that make you smile and
Mm,
that, you know, support you. That's the third component, I think, that really is necessary
yeah. Oh
for
gosh,
us
yes.
to
Yeah, isolation isn't a good thing.
know. And I've even noticed because my job changed, and how easy it was with as I started coaching people. It was during the pandemic, and so now everything seems to be online. But the truth is my heart really wants to have it in person, and I
Mm,
forgot about it because I was just going along in the way I'd always done it. So that's
yeah. But
more in
that
person.
realization, that's what's
Oh,
important. And then
yeah.
believing that you can make a change.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, and that's where sometimes having the support of somebody else it comes in
absolutely.
because whenever we try something new, there's it's difficult, and so we run up against a little challenge, and then we're like, oh, I guess the universe is telling me this was not meant for me.
Right, right,
As
exactly.
adults, we're not used to being learners.
Yeah. So what kind of connections are you looking for right now? How can we support
So
you?
yeah, so it's very interesting. Although I know all this information about health, that is, I do not counsel people directly in perhaps a, making dietary changes. I don't gather information on like you do with the blood or looking at their genomics and stuff like that. But I'm always looking for practitioners who are excellent and experts in their field where I could refer my clients to them because mine is more this overreaching about their life. And then if they want specifics, I refer them to practitioners like yourself with the holistic health. And if somebody else, so if anybody is interested, I just love to have them come to my website and create a time for us to speak. Like, because everyone is different. Everyone connects differently with different people and what it is
So
that they're
true.
most interested in.
So
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So true. And so do you want us to put your website, tell us your website, and then we'll put it also in the messaging.
Sure. So my website is purefocuswellness.com. And I also, and on there you can find ways to contact me. I also I do a lot in Facebook. So I'm on Facebook and I'm obviously on LinkedIn. And so my Facebook is Peggy Christian. And in there, I also have a Facebook group and I run a women's circle monthly. It's free. And what we do is we just explore something and a theme that I come up with, and we really dive into that, and everyone gets to share, and we walk away from that just
Mm,
feeling full and reflective and knowing just a little bit more about ourselves. Within that, we have community. And that's also on my website. There's something that's called spiritual IV, IV, like getting an IV,
right.
because the circle, you're in there and you're getting everything you need undiluted and it's getting directly to where it needs to get. Like I have to put a little bit of that doctor stuff in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that's great. Well, I want to
Yeah.
thank you for coming on with me. We've already been on for 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh, so yeah, went so fast. It
It
was so
goes
fascinating.
so fast. Thank you so much. Please for anyone that's watching the replay or watching live, please connect with Dr. Peggy. She's delightful, she's knowledgeable, and she's just an overall great person. So thank you again, Dr. Peggy.
Thank
And
you so much, Judy.
yes, and for everyone that joined us today on Your Health Matters, remember your health does matter. And it's up to us individually to make a difference in our own health. No one's going to do it for us. And I just would like to leave everybody with the thought for today. And the thought is do something for yourself today. It's the best day to take care of your health. So thanks, Dr. Peggy. And
Thank you so
we'll
much.
we'll see you again soon.
Appreciate you. Bye.